So Russell Wilson, we didn't mention too much about him getting cut by the Broncos, but in his time in Denver, 11-19 over 2 seasons. Think about that deal. 5 years, $242.6 million for Russ. I remember when that went down, I was in Tampa, Florida, and we had just started the show the way it is. We were still doing it from my Notre Dame bedroom. Remember when we were on Zoom and Jack was in his unfinished basement with the wood hanging all over the ceiling?
Yes.
Ziggy's setup was still flawless, but the rest of the show just looked absolutely ridiculous. And I'm doing a facial reaction going, Russell Wilson to the Broncos, man, Denver's all in here. We'll see if this pays off. And it
didn't pay off.
It's up there as one of the worst contracts, worst trades in the history of football. They gave up 2 firsts and 2 seconds, then went on and signed that deal. Just blows up in their face. Ziggy, did you see the dead money hit that Denver's taking?
Yeah. So until today, or until Russell Wilson gets cut, the biggest dead money hit in history was Matt Ryan at $40.53 million. Russ is 85. Now they're going to split it over 2 years, and exactly how they do it, they've got a few different options. But he is more than twice as bad as the biggest dead money hit in NFL history.
Yeah, right now, Russell Wilson, depending on how it's broken up, I believe it's probably going to look like 35.4 in 2024, 49.6 in 2025, or at least that's...
Yeah, it depends on how they manage the option bonus that they have to pay him. They can try and pay it now, they can pay it later, but in either case, it's going to be a whole lot of money this year and a whole lot more next year.
Yeah, so overall together, it is the largest dead cap hit ever. But even if you split up those 2 years, he'll wind up having likely the first and fourth highest dead cap hits for an individual season in the history of football. I mean, just absolutely blows up in his face. Yeah, you said Matt Ryan was the biggest. Second before this was Aaron Rodgers at 40.3 in 2023. So you could just see how much of a disaster it was. Think about Denver is so desperate to get rid of Russell Wilson that basically they're willing to incur something this expensive to just get him out of the building.
With no better option, right? It's not like they're about to go out and get a star. It's not like they've got an early draft pick. Like, they're just going to take whatever comes because it's better than this.
It's just so disappointing, too. I thought, and so did everybody else, when the Broncos got Russ, he has some decent weapons. Oh, this is definitely a wild card type, playoff type team, and they were horrendous. Like, he was terrible. Yeah, it blew my mind, really.
I'm trying to think, who were the big free agent quarterbacks that were moving? So Rodgers moved, Russ moved.
A-Rod.
Who else am I forgetting here? Did any other big quarterbacks go on the move? I thought there was. Oh, maybe was there another big trade?
I mean, if so, it was all overshadowed by Rodgers.
Maybe I'm thinking about Brady's retirement at the time. But regardless, these giant. Oh, Watson went to Cleveland.
Oh yeah, Watson.
Years ago.
Yeah.
But all of these situations recently where you've had big quarterbacks going into different markets, at least off the top of my mind, I think they've all backfired pretty severely so far. We'll see what happens with the Jets. But for Russ, we talk about landing spots where he could go. And you look back on last season, he played good football at times and also struggled. The Dolphins beat him by 70 points. So I'll go to you first, Ziggy. If you're a team, like what teams first off would even be interested in Russell Wilson?
The tricky thing of Russell Wilson is listening to how he's talking about himself. Because what did he say? He said his goal is to win multiple Super Bowls wherever he goes next.
Oh, okay, Russ.
Well, no, but
welcome to Pittsburgh.
I'm not saying that I think it's likely, but the thought is, first of all, Pittsburgh has already said they're out. They're not interested. Omar Khan shut that down.
Omar Khan's going to Kenny Pickett.
Well, yeah, but the thing is if Russell Wilson really thinks that he should come in and be an undisputed starter on a contender, that's just not happening. The only team that I think there's even a chance of him coming in as that kind of a guy is Atlanta. And it's not clear. He's like their third or fourth option at best. So I don't know. If Russ is willing to be a backup or a bridge quarterback, like that's an option for him. But what team is running out eager to sign Russell Wilson to be their starter? I don't think there are a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, but I don't think a single team in the NFL is interested in that kind of experience.
What about like the Patriots?
I've seen the Patriots be well. Here's the problem with Russ. It's that most of the time in these situations, when you go after a veteran quarterback like Russell Wilson, you're a team that's just a quarterback away from making a big run. And you just need that guy who can come in and push you to the next level. But Russ isn't playing high enough quality football to push any team to the next level. On the other hand, the teams that want to sort of start over or have a bridge quarterback, Russ also isn't the kind of guy who's going to come in and be suitable unless he accepts that role as a bridge quarterback, because he's going to, one, probably want a lot of money, and two, automatically come in there and, we talked about a huge media distraction. He's one of the superstar in the NFL.
The good news is Russ doesn't need to take much money because the Broncos are paying him $85 million over the next 2 years. But the other problem is that the teams that are available, Russ is a terrible scheme fit.
Yeah.
Right. Russell Wilson's strengths are as a playmaker, producing out of pocket. And this year he was terrible throwing over the middle of the field. That's just not what he does. You talk about the Minnesota Vikings. You talk about the Atlanta Falcons. You talk about Arthur Smith with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are all teams that want to throw over the middle, especially like those McVay-style Falcons, Vikings offenses. So when you're talking about a guy who had his worst numbers in his career in terms of taking sacks, how long he took to throw the ball, his numbers throwing over the middle were terrible. I just don't see where he could end up. I think the best thing he can hope for is something like being a backup on the Titans. And I don't think that's what he wants to do.
Well, you might just have to see him accept a role change in his career.
What are like the Bears? Like, would they start Caleb right away, or would they start?
Well, does Russell Wilson want to come in and they say, you're going to start 6 games for us and then we're going to bench you?
I saw the Raiders as a possibility.
I saw the Raiders too, but
they have Aiden O'Connell right now. If they don't go and get anyone, I can see Russ. But if you're a Raiders fan, do you want Russell Wilson? They're kind of a weird team, though, where defense actually really stepped up in the second half of last season. They have Devontae Adams. They have Jacoby Myers. Like, the Raiders are a good football team. If Russ is okay, I can see that being a spot. But if I'm a Raider fan, I don't want Russell Wilson. If I'm a fan of any team, I really don't want Russell Wilson.
I don't think I would either.
But it's still, at the end of the Buffalo game last year, he had a big drive. I know they didn't win that. No, they did win that game, right? Trying to remember the Buffalo.
No, the Bills won that game.
The field goal?
Bills won by 3.
Yeah, they missed the field goal,
right?
The
Bills won by 3.
And then they got hot. They beat the Vikings with that last second drive. Russell Wilson can still play to a degree. It's just his fit is weird. So,
I mean, he's shown he could still manage a game and be a game manager. And I'd say he was 70% of what his best football could have been last year.
The alarming numbers are just how many sacks he took. Russell Wilson's a playmaker. He's always been vulnerable to that. But last year, and really the whole time with the Broncos, he's taken an unbelievable number of sacks, and they've mostly been his fault. It's just not clear to me that's going to get any better.
Would you say he's overrated or underrated right now? Because I think there are people who are on both sides of that coin.
I mean, sorry, go ahead, Jack.
I was just going to say, I think a lot of people right now think that he's awful, which is why I'd probably lean underrated, because I don't think he's as bad as most people think he is.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, his numbers last year were concerning if you want a primetime quarterback. Russell Wilson, I think, is perfectly capable of stepping in and being an average starter.
Yeah, I also think he's being a little underrated.
I agree. A lot of people probably think he right now is a horrible starter.
Yeah, just find the right fit. Maybe it could be the Raiders, New England. Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, but this thing, if Russ wants to go to a competitive team, right, like a team that can win Super Bowls, which is what he said, the Raiders don't. So there's no good fit for him.
I could see if Atlanta swings and misses on Kirk,
bring him to Miami.
I saw something that he was on. I saw it as well.
Bring him to Miami. I don't want to sign Tua. I think
so. You want Russ?
I've seen Russ have a clutch factor.
He does have,
and and this year really showed it to me. Tua is good, but he just doesn't have the clutch factor. And I want somebody with,
So Wilson to the Dolphins. Great, Zach. It's been a while. Hey, go ahead.
But I've seen a couple lists with
Zach doesn't like going on camera.
I've seen a couple lists of people saying Russ to Miami, but I don't really see Russ right now. I don't think with any of these teams being anything more than a bridge quarterback.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a team like New England, who drafts number 3 overall, probably going to draft a quarterback. They don't like.
That's probably what he is at this point.
Right. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, when any team getting Russell Wilson needs to know you're not, and they understand this. It's really Russ who needs to know you're not anticipating the Seahawks superstar Russell Wilson anymore. And he could find a little magic. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
The only place I can see him stepping in and being a starter for a full year is if the Bucs lose Baker Mayfield, Baker signs some big deal elsewhere, and they want to pair some guy up with Mike Evans. That's kind of it.
So we're talking about one of those roles like in Atlanta, like a a Tampa where Russ isn't going to be the primary option, but he could potentially come in if they miss out on the quarterback they're going for. So, I mean, there are spots. He's got to go somewhere. I'd be shocked if he's not on a roster.
Would it be shocking if he didn't want to go anywhere until the season started to wait to see what quarterback gets hurt and then go?
Not at all. That wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen, or even in training camp, someone always goes down, it seems, at least for me for the start of the season. I just remember Teddy getting hurt and the crazy rush to find someone. I would have been happy to sign a guy like Russell Wilson, as we wound up trading a first for Sam Bradford. It would have been nice to have a quarter, but we'll see, because of course you want to go in and be familiar with the system and everything.